Hey Jared, thanks for meeting me for lunch. I really wanted to catch up and ask you something.
Of course. What's been going on?
Well, my company is beginning to grow at a much quicker rate than I anticipated. And now I think I need to find a new accounting firm that can handle a more complex tax return and more volume. I was wondering who's done accounting work for your company recently over the past few years.
Oh, well, it's actually ABC Accounting.
Have they been good so far?
They've been great. They do really great work. They're so on top of everything. And with the way they set up their contracts, they charge you less than other big accounting firms do.
Wow, that all does sound great. I'm gonna have to meet with them for myself.
Hey Melissa, so good to finally meet you.
Hi Sebastian, I'm so glad to get our professional relationship started.
So what our company does is complete accounting work for any of your company's needs. We think that our services are so much better than the competition that we are willing to offer lower base rates of service. The catch is that we include contingency fees.
Okay, well what's a contingency fee?
A contingency fee is when we agree that I will get a certain percentage of the money we save you, or a certain lump sum if we save you a certain amount of money. Now, in some circumstances, our total fees end up being greater than that of our competition. But that is only when we save our client more money than they would have saved with another firm. Other times, we are not able to save our clients as much money and you pay a lower rate. In either case, you end up getting a better deal and your company comes out on top.
So I pay less if you save me less, and I only have to pay more if you're saving me more money?
That's exactly it. Here at ABC Accounting, we try to put our clients first every step of the way. It's our job to help out the public, and we feel the best way of doing that is to be transparent about our pricing and help thriving businesses like yours continue to grow.
This all sounds great. So what would the next step be?
Well, if you have made up your mind, all that is left is signing the contract saying we will take care of your tax and audit needs.
Perfect. Let's get to signing these contracts and I'll get you all the information you need. I'm hoping that you guys have multiple teams getting started as soon as possible. There's a lot to go over and I want to get your group as acclimated with our company as possible as soon as possible.
That's exactly what we can do. My team and I are looking forward to working with you.
Did you just sign the latest client up for tax compliance and audit work?
Yes, I did. It was a big win for this firm. They bring in so much revenue, and there are contingency fees built in so we can make even more if we do well.
And you're positive that you attach contingency fees to this client?
Well, of course. That way we make more money. Plus, it was a big selling point in getting the client to choose our firm over the competition.
Well, I'm going to need you to call the client back immediately to change this, if that's even possible at this point.
Why would I do that?
Because we can't have contingency fees attached to any client that we perform a tax services for. That means no audits, reviews, compilations of financial statements, or examinations of prospective financial statements of any kind.
But I checked with the AICPA, and it seemed like that would be okay.
Well, in certain states it is, but every state CPA board has their own rules for what is allowed.
So what should I do?
The AICPA may still require disclosure of any commissions or referral fees, so we should definitely double check if we have to disclose this, and maybe we can get out of the contract.
I'm so sorry. I'll try to fix this.
Okay, so it looks like everything should be just about finalized here. We're going to send anything in unless you have any other questions.
Thank you for all your help and being so cooperative during this engagement. I really enjoy working with your firm.
Of course, we're happy to do whatever we can to help and save you guys money and get the best results that we can.
We really appreciate it.
Okay, and so just remember, keep us in mind if you ever need any other work done, or in the future, if you have any associates that could use our services, please reach out. We'd love to help.
Hey, Sophia, who did your taxes this year? We could really use a new accounting firm because the one that we just used got involved in a pretty bad tax scheme last year. We're really looking for somebody that can do a better job. It's more respectable.
Actually, we just finished working with XYZ accounting firm and they were really great. These associates were very knowledgeable and professional, and the work they got done was both accurate and efficient.
Wow, that sounds like it could be really helpful. But we do have some tough tax issues on our books this year. Do you think they'd be able to handle that?
Oh, definitely. They provide a lot of different services and have experts in various fields. I really trust their problem-solving skills and ability to think creatively to help their clients stay profitable and competitive without breaking any of the rules.
Wow, sounds like a great firm. I'll give them a call in the morning to set a meeting up.
Hey Jared, nice to see you. Welcome to XYZ Accounting Firm.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you. Sophia told me a lot of great things about your firm.
That's really nice to hear. You know, we don't like to do a lot of outright advertising, and so we really count on our trusted clients like her to provide referrals to potential new customers like you.
That seems like a pretty respectable practice. I always say that if you're good at what you do, then the work will speak for you.
Exactly. So what can I help you with?
Hey Sophia, it's great to see you again.
Hey Jared, it's great to see you too. How has the work with XYZ Accounting Firm been going?
It's actually gone really well so far. I walked in from day one and felt like they were really going to take care of my business. And now they still walk me through every step of the way, contacting me when they need additional information or forms. They even take every single one of my calls when I want to hear an update on how things are going. I've never seen a business, let alone an accounting firm, that is as respectable and as diligent as this one.
Wow, that's so great that it's working out well. I'm glad that I recommended you to their business.
Me too. I'm definitely going to recommend them to any of my friends and colleagues in the future.
Hey, do you need someone to do your taxes? Do you want to be the best tax accountants in the world? If then, come on down to Cayman Islands Tax Professionals. We will save you more money than the entire industry. If you want more deductions, we'll find them. If you have difficult items on your books, we'll disguise them. We want to save you money by any means possible. Repeat, any means possible. We have saved clients over $1 billion on their tax returns, and we make a habit of beating up the IRS. Call right now because one of our professionals is always standing by. You shouldn't have to pay more taxes than the bare minimum, so call us here at 1-800-TAX-BEAT. Let me repeat, 1-800-TAX-BEAT. Right now, if you want to save, save, save!
Hi, I'm Felix Burkowski, CPA, the owner of Accounting Pro Now. We provide professional financial services to our highly valued clients. We will watch over your accounting books and taxes all year round so that there are no surprises at the end of the year. We will also advise and suggest the best possible ways to legally minimize your tax liability so you can enjoy more of your hard-earned money. In addition, we will keep your finances in check with all of the latest rules and regulations and apply them as they best fit your unique situation. We can provide fast and accurate electronic filing at no extra cost to you. Moreover, our core values of integrity, professionalism, knowledge, and trust are reflected in everything that we do. So come in for a visit at 221 West Street Road in Feasterville or visit us online at accountingpronow.com.
Sometimes, when you're working on a tax engagement, a client might try to sway you to save them as much money as possible, even if that might mean compromising your ethics. Let's see how a not-so-ethical accountant might handle this situation.
Hey Jessica, how are this year's tax returns coming along?
Hi Sophia. We hit a few rough patches with some missing current information, but don't worry, we'll figure out a way to use last year's information to fill in the gaps.
Sounds good to me. We just need to make sure we can get a really big refund this year. Our company had a bad couple of quarters and could really use the extra money in the bank.
Oh, definitely, we'll see what we can do. But the tax code is pretty specific on what is allowed.
Yeah, but isn't the tax code also unfair and complex with all kinds of loopholes? There are people who make way more money than we do, and somehow they're paying less in taxes. I know you can find a way to save us some money.
I guess you're right. There are a few things I could do for you, but I'm really not supposed to, even though they're technically legal.
Oh, come on. If they're legal, then why not? Just this once, please. You know, half the taxes they want me to pay aren't fair anyway. I'll still be contributing something, but we just really can't afford anything unreasonable this year.
Okay, maybe just this once. I'll move some money around on your books and do what I can to make sure that you get a sizable refund. Don't worry about it.
Thank you so much. I knew you would help me out.
Now, back at the accounting firm, Jessica is called into the partner's office to discuss what happened.
Hi Jessica, thanks for coming in.
Of course, what did you need to discuss with me?
I was reviewing this return that you filled out for ABC Corporation, and I found a few questionable items. You seem to have understated revenue earned and used estimates for deductions that I have no merit in this context of the industry. Can you explain why you did this?
The client and I had a candid conversation about their current financial position and their ability to pay their taxes this year. I thought that just this once, it would be okay to exploit some of the loopholes in the tax code in order to help them get a bigger refund. Nothing that I did included was technically illegal. I just shifted some of the recognition and valuation.
I'm very disappointed in you. You should know better than to do something like this. It's very important that you follow not just the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law when filling out tax forms. You need to act honestly and ethically in order for the system to function in the way it was intended. What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm sorry, I won't do it again.
I'm sorry too, but you won't have the opportunity to do it again. I can't have another accountant on my staff who would disregard their responsibility to the profession and our code of conduct in such a manner. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to let you go.
I understand, and I apologize again. I should have done better.
In this scenario, let's see how a more ethical accountant would handle the same situation of being pressured by a client.
Hey, Sebastian. How are this year's tax returns coming along?
Hi, Sophia. So, unfortunately, not so great. It seems like you haven't provided us with all the proper documentation we need to accurately determine your tax liability.
What else could you need?
Well, I need to know exact deduction amount, not just the random estimates you gave me. I also need updated information on your outstanding loans and depreciated assets.
Oh, don't worry about that stuff. It can't be that important. I'm sure you guys can just figure it out based on what you did last year.
Well, I'm not so sure that we can, because even small changes in these items can have a big impact on your return.
Listen, Sebastian, you saved us a lot of money last year. Can you just do that again? We don't want to have to pay more than we already are. We had a rough couple of quarters and could really use a bigger refund.
I don't want you to have to pay any more either. But you're not in the same position you were last year. You have more income this year, which means you most likely will have to pay more in taxes. It's only fair.
Well, it doesn't seem too fair to me. I know plenty of people who make much more than I do and pay less in taxes. It's the taxes themselves that are unfair. They're asking way too much of me. I don't even get benefit from half the programs my tax dollars are paying for, so I shouldn't have to pay extra for them. Don't you agree?
I can understand why you feel the system isn't fair to you. But I can't agree that not paying what you legally owe is the solution. The tax system is dependent on honest self-assessment and reporting in order to function efficiently. Without it, our government could fall apart.
But without this extra money in the bank, my business could fall apart. Can you just find a loophole in the tax code and help me out? It's no skin off your back. You get paid the same no matter what my return says, and saving people more money can bring more clients.
If I sign off on a return, that's my vow that the return is true, correct, and complete. Knowingly misstating your liability would be a violation of the AICPA Code of Conduct. I could lose my CPA license and even go to jail for perjury.
No one will have to find out.
I'm sorry, but I can't and won't do that for you. It is not worth compromising my responsibilities and morals as an accountant, not to mention potential professional and legal consequences. If you want me to file your return legally and ethically, I will. If not, I think we're done here.
Once again, we're back at the accounting firm as Sebastian meets with the partner in his office.
Hey Sebastian, thanks for coming in.
Of course, what did you want to speak with me about?
Well, I was talking to your manager, and she mentioned to me that you were facing some tough pressure from ABC Corporation last week. I just wanted to commend you for staying true to your ethical integrity of the profession and doing the right thing by refusing to misstate their tax return.
Thank you. The request was definitely tempting, but I couldn't betray my own moral standards. And I knew that our firm would support me in that decision.
Right again, our upper management actively tries to establish a company culture of strong ethical values and clear communication in order to ensure that our employees feel comfortable handling tricky situations such as this one. I'm truly proud of your commitment to your ethics as an accountant and to this firm. And always remember to feel free to come to me for help in any dilemma such as this one, if one ever arises again in the future.
Of course. And thanks again.
Hey Jacob, it's nice to see you. How have you been?
I've been doing well. I plan to sell my software company and expect to see a capital gain of $28 million.
That's awesome. Unfortunately, you will be taxed on your capital gain.
That's too bad, but that'll take such a large portion of my well-deserved earnings away. I wish there was something I could do about it.
Well, actually, there are some ways to avoid capital gain taxes. KPMG aims to provide the best products and services to our clients, and we would love to help you out. I recommend you purchase one of our tax shelters to minimize your taxes. It's just a few multi-step programs that involve investment in foreign currency. It's really simple and easy, trust me.
I'm not so sure about this. It seems like a risky, complex strategy.
No, don't worry. This is a bulletproof strategy because it uses the IRS's own laws against them. All we have to do is make the most out of the tax laws. With these investments, we can create artificial capital losses to offset your capital gains. You just need to pay a 7% fee of your gains.
But how does that work?
Let me worry about that. All you need to do is worry about saving money.
Okay, sure, I'll go along with it. At least I can avoid paying more taxes.
Also, don't hire a lawyer to independently review it. The strategy is confidential. Did you hear? I just got another client to agree with the new tax shelter plan. We're going to make so much extra money and get a huge bonus this year.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. But how are you going to conceal this from the IRS?
I will just have to shift a few numbers and prepare and execute false documents. I know the losses should not be claimed on the tax forms, but the upper management expects big profits from us.
But that's illegal. You can't lie on the tax form. Once it's found out, both our client and KPMG could go into trouble, and you might even lose your job.
No one would ever find out.
Okay, if you really think so.
This just in, KPMG LLP has admitted to criminal wrongdoing and agreed to pay $456 million in fines, restitution, and penalties as a part of an agreement to defer prosecution of the firm. The Justice Department and Internal Revenue Service announced this earlier today. In addition to the agreement, 9 individuals, including 6 former KPMG partners and the former deputy chairman of the firm, are being criminally prosecuted in relation to this multi-billion-dollar criminal tax fraud conspiracy. As alleged in a series of charging documents unsealed today, the fraud relates to the design, marketing, and implementation of fraudulent tax shelters. Tune in later tonight for an exclusive interview with the deputy chairman, Jeffrey Stein.
Here with former KPMG Deputy Chairman and tax partner Jeffrey Stein. He has been pled guilty to charges of conspiracy and tax evasions. How are you part of the KPMG tax shelter fraud?
I admit that I conspired with others to prepare and execute false documents so that clients could file fake tax returns. I knew that some of the losses should not have been claimed on these tax reforms. I chose to do it anyways.
This has been going on for about 5 years. What took the IRS so long to discover this fraud?
I took the steps to conceal the existence of the fraudulent tax shelters from the IRS and avoided registering the shelters with the IRS by claiming attorney-client privileges. It was really easy.
Well, do you have anything else to say?
Do I now? We used an abusive strategy to design tax shelters solely for the purpose of avoiding taxes. I regret committing this fraud. It is my responsibility to point out to the client what is legally owed and not owed, and the responsibility not to take advantage of our tax system.
Well, it has been great having the opportunity to hear you speak on this topic. Join us tomorrow night as we talk with one of the KPMG clients involved in the scandal.
Now I'm joined by Jacob, a former KPMG client who partook in the tax shelter fraud. Thanks for joining me here, Jacob.
Thanks for having me on the show.
So the tax returns were cited as one of the 186 that were falsified by KPMG accountants as a part of a larger tax shelter plan that cost the government billions of dollars in tax losses. Do you think you would tell us a little more about how you get involved with this scandal?
I've been a client at KPMG for a number of years before this event occurred. When I came to my accountant and told them that I was planning on selling my software business for a sizable capital gain, they expressed concern regarding the high capital gain taxes that I would have to pay. She suggested the tax shelter as a way of moving my money around to make it look as if I had losses to offset the gain so that I could reduce my tax liability. It was never made clear to me that the actions taking place were considered tax evasion or were even illegal. I knew that it didn't feel quite right, but I trusted my accountant and wanted to believe that this was a legitimate operation.
It's really interesting to hear your side of the story. Were you surprised when the auditor discovered such a large fraud on your return?
I definitely was. Like I said, I knew the actions of my accountant didn't feel quite right or normal, but I never expected it to be this large scale of an issue. At the same time, however, I was told the plan was confidential and I shouldn't seek legal counsel, so I guess that should have been a big indicator that the bigger issues were at hand.
I see here that you negotiated a settlement and paid back some of the taxes that you should have owed.
Yes, it was the least that I could do. I got off pretty easily compared to the accountants of KPMG. What I did was wrong, and we realize that now.
It's really nice to hear you say that. Is there anything else that you want to add regarding this situation?
I'm deeply ashamed of being involved in a scandal this harmful. I only wanted to save myself some money in taxes, and I didn't think about how it could potentially hurt other people.
Well, hopefully we all have learned something from this situation.
Tonight on The Fifth Estate, they were smart, they were brash, called product champions, accountants for the rich.
I think there was a perception that they'd never get caught.
In the U.S., KPMG paid a price for the tax evasion schemes it concocted.
The testimony today will disclose a tawdry tale.
But in Canada, a different scheme led to a secret deal, KPMG and its clients off the hook.
I don't want to go down a path that's going to cause trouble.
Do you think there was interference here? Do you think there was political interference?
I do believe there was.
Tonight, we'll reveal new details about the scheme.
They're just going to keep their lips shut tight. How is Canada Revenue Agency going to detect it?
About the culture, the cozy relationships, and that secret amnesty deal.
Well, maybe this is a case of tax evasion here.
Which is a crime.
Which is a crime.
And for the first time, we'll name some of the well-heeled Canadians who profited.
As a tax professor, as a tax lawyer, as a citizen, as a Canadian, I am upset.
Vancouver, 1999. The decade of greed may have come and gone, but for many who'd made money or inherited it, the question was still how to protect it. Enter the tax accountant. No longer the gray cipher of generations past. By the 90s, accountants had become players too, aggressively selling deals and schemes to help wealthy people reduce their tax loads. And they were getting rich as well. There were a handful of big international accounting firms, but one in particular had a reputation for being the most aggressive, KPMG, a giant of a company with branches across Canada and around the world.
I think there was a perception that they'd never get caught, which made the cost-benefit work in their minds.
Michael Hammersley spent years working at KPMG in the United States. He remembers the 90s culture well.
It wasn't just KPMG. There was a kind of a runaway industry problem. The detriment of breaking the law was basically a slap on the wrist, and you could get filthy rich doing it.
The competition to sell, to come up with innovative schemes crossed borders. In June of '99, KPMG's Vancouver office invented one they thought so clever, everyone involved had to sign a promise not to talk about it, including the clients who signed up.
The main motivation was saving the tax.
This former client signed KPMG's confidentiality clause, which is why he's in shadow. He approached the company for one reason, he says, to keep his money away from the taxman.
It was really just as simple as that, I don't want to pay tax. Have you got something that works?
It turns out they did. KPMG called it their offshore company structure, and it was only for the rich. Crux of the deal was that whatever you invested would be called a gift. You were giving money away to a shell company set up for you in the tiny tax haven of the Isle of Man. According to internal company documents, you had to have at least $5 million to get in, another $100,000 to cover KPMG's fees. As long as your investment was a gift, it couldn't be taxed by the Canada Revenue Agency. So clients had to swear their money was no longer theirs, absolutely and irrevocably. But that's not what this client remembers being told.
But, if I'm the CRA, this is a lie. I still have absolute control over my money. Everything else, every bit of piece of paper, everything is window dressing to create the appearance of I don't have control over this. But in fact, I do.
In a statement to the Fifth Estate, KPMG emphatically disputes that claim. Clients were explicitly told that they were giving up control of their assets. And yet the company's own documents undercut that assertion. Money gifted to the Isle of Man would earn interest untaxed. It could eventually come back to Canada, also as a gift and also untaxed.
Nobody gives away $20 million to an Isle of Man company and says, hey, I busted my ass for 20 years to make it, but you know what? I'm feeling generous today, so you can have it all. No strings attached. I don't think so. Not for $100,000 check that you just wrote to KPMG.
So what kind of advantage did that kind of money buy? According to KPMG, plenty. In addition to the big tax break on interest, clients were told their assets would be protected from other taxes as well. They'd also be allowed to circumvent certain Canadian regulations, limits on charitable donations, for instance, even divorce laws. The scheme would be a perfect way to hide from an ex-spouse, according to a legal opinion obtained by KPMG. It was all pretty enticing, and the pressure to sell was intense. Potential clients were identified as targets. Accountants sent out across the country to take aim and celebrated with every target they bagged. The shell companies they set up had names like Burham Investments, SKH, Calfar 43, and Gask, each one hiding from the taxman the true identity of the rich Canadians behind it.